All right, we will open up the Select Board meeting of February 26th. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All righty. So we will start with manifests.
I'll make a motion to approve the accounts payable manifest of February 26, 2018, and the payroll manifest of February 27th, 2018.
Second.
All in favor? All right.
Yeah, I just have it.
It's not the manifest. Anyway, go ahead.
Oh,
Give me that.
cut that.
Make sure my cell phone's off.
There you go.
Phew.
Were there any changes to those minutes?
Donna said she had some,
Okay.
Yeah, just,
and there were for the 5th.
I make a motion, we approve the minutes, the public minutes of February 12, 2018 as amended.
Second.
You said you had some corrections.
yeah, I did on the
Oh,
12th.
not made yet?
Or if they haven't,
They have not been made yet.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know, no.
we can hold off on that.
Okay.
Withdraw the motion.
Yep.
Charlie, if you want to change that to February 5, those ones still need to be approved too.
Okay.
February 5, we deferred last time because we hadn't had a chance to review them yet.
And I think Charlie did have some amendments to those.
Okay.
Again, minor, but,
Okay, I don't know that we saw those.
they would have been in the previous packet. Let me bring that.
I did so. I didn't have any comments on them, so I'm good with those.
The changes were at the very end on the 5th, weren't they, Charlie?
Yes. Yeah, a couple of different words, it's pretty straightforward.
You want to just read them for us?
I don't have them with
Okay.
me.
What was the gist of it?
After I made the change to them, I sent them to Dawn and
Was it just like corrections?
Minor?
Yeah, okay.
Can't even find them. So there may have been, but it does.
Okay,
You guys
fine.
amended it.
All right, so let's take a motion for the 5th first. Let's get that out of the way.
Okay, I move we accept the minutes of February 5 as amended.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Before we have a motion on the 12th, the line 145, Dawn,
Yep.
so it says Chair Dana stated his opinion of the moderator that there should be a quorum of the board for all elections, blah, 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 blah. That was specific to Tuesday voting day, not, and I just think that needs to be clarified, and I didn't see that specifically in the previous paragraphs.
For town elections?
Well, it relates to,
It's not a general,
yeah, so it does say which does not include town elections. I just think it's helpful to clarify it, to say, to tie it to Tuesday's voting day.
Tuesday, March 13th
Correct, yeah.
election.
Yeah. That was the only comment I had.
So I'll just accept
Yeah, that's fine.
Just that.
Yep, that's fine. So we'll take a motion on that now?
Actually, on line 3, Tyler wasn't with us, right? He was still traveling last week?
He was out last week. He was here the week before.
This is the 12th.
The 12th, yeah.
Yeah, last meeting.
Yeah, he was,
Out last week, or the
Yes.
last, the 12th.
yes.
Sure?
Because he doesn't
I'll
show,
send the video.
he doesn't show up in the
No,
votes.
No, because we talked to him last time about what his votes would be. He was out the 5th,
Right.
and he was here last time because we asked him, and,
I think it was the other way around.
no, it wasn't.
Because he doesn't show up in the votes for the 12th.
I've got 5 zeros.
Oh, you do? Oh, wait, yeah, he does. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
We
Sorry.
voted on the 5th.
So it was the 5th, okay,
Yeah,
you're right.
And he was not here.
All right, we're good.
Okay, so motion on the 12th? Did we just do that?
No, the
Okay.
second one yet.
Can I have a motion on the minutes for the 12th?
So move.
Second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
And now all we have left is the non-public from the 12th.
And I'll print those if you guys want them, but
I had no comments.
I had nothing.
you want me to print them?
Oh, very good.
I had nothing.
Okay, I'll take a motion.
So move.
Second.
All in favor? Great, okay. Boards and committees. Let's start, anything with budget?
No, we won't be together again until town meeting.
Okay, and we had, the public hearing on the budget was post our last meeting, right?
Pre
After-
our last meeting, just before.
Just before, okay, all right. So that's all good?
Yeah.
Planning?
No cases coming up, this Wednesday, so the road subcommittee is meeting.
Okay,
So it'll be a working session.
okay. And,
300th committee met
right,
Thursday night? Yeah. Went over again some fundraising ideas. It was a good turnout, different people there, and the lady that does T-shirts and hats and that stuff, she offered some recommendations to the board. They're gonna try to get few T-shirts and hats made up ahead of time, not large amounts, to see how things go.
yep,
We wanted to have some for town meeting, but I don't think it's gonna happen,
okay,
some samples. But and there was other thing, they talked about different fundraising possibilities. And Steve Welch had some examples from Deerfield and Raymond and Candia on some of the fundraising they'd done. You know, there's still a lot to be done to line up bands and all that stuff, but
okay.
it's still pretty preliminary, but they got a good group working on it, so everybody seems to be interested in doing the best they can, so.
Good, excellent. Logo? You're doing the logo judging, right?
Yeah, it's the March 21st, you said.
Okay, is
Yeah,
that when
it's
it
on my calendar, yeah.
Right.
We're starting to get requests for expenditures from that. Did you close a process on how you want to do that?
It was gonna,
We've got a current
yes,
request
we wanted it to
for
come,
the
it
logo
was similar
contest.
to the town, we wanted to come through the towns, through the bookkeeper. And Peter Bach is the treasurer,
Okay,
so he will be, if anybody wants any money, it'll come through Peter and then to you,
okay.
before there's any expenditures.
And how does the board want to handle that? You're the agents of that. We don't have a routine, you want to treat it like the operating budget, or do you want to see, you haven't given me the authority to spend that money through whatever process, so how do
I thought
you?
they were supposed to come back with a plan. I thought that was, I mean, to ask for expenditures without even knowing what the direction of the committee is.
Yeah, I thought we had asked for kind of like two things, like an A and a B, the A being what they conceivably want to do, right?
Right.
And then the B being, I think we estimated that we would have 300,000 by then? Was it that much?
No,
I forgot what the number
it was
was.
50 something.
Oh, okay, 50. We said, based on the number Based on what we're putting aside every year and what that number would equal by then, we wanted to see what they thought they could do for that number.
Okay, is that something you can take back to them, Charlie? And
Yes, yeah, I'm writing that down.
they're looking for prize money for the logo contest now. And I
Okay.
said, I told Betsy to hold off until I get some guidance from you on how you want to do that. And there may be some other deposit things brewing too. I don't know what else is coming, but
The logo contest prizes was what, like,
it's $75 twice.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's in the progress, I'm okay with that, but
See that?
as far as deposits and stuff, I'm not sure about that.
Okay.
There's nothing I see immediately anyway, they just,
Okay.
they wanted to try to get the prize money, the $75 out to the logo winners.
Okay, so you're comfortable with that, and anything else you want to see, you want to hear back from them
Yes.
first?
Yeah.
Is that,
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Are you guys okay? Tony?
Yeah.
yeah?
No, you're not?
Not really.
With the logo contest?
Yeah, the fact that they jumped ahead, but
Okay, so, what would you propose then?
Well, I guess, what did they promise? Did they promise a payout? So, like,
I think that's been publicized, yeah, yeah. You know,
I don't know exactly where,
so,
but,
yeah.
I stayed out of that end of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think they shouldn't have.
Pardon me?
I think they probably shouldn't have promised prize money, but given the amount of it, it's $150, and it's been promised to people who are participating in it. I think we should go ahead with that one, but let's make sure that they come back before anything else, and that we see those kind of like draft budgets. Are you comfortable with that, Charlene?
I'll get,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll get this back to
Okay.
the committee.
Okay, that's it for committees and boards, right? So Chris?
Just a couple things, solar install is gonna start a week from today. We had thought it was today, but they had to push it back, but we're still apparently on track. We heard from DES recently, their
here,
fire station first been here.
they haven't even started cutting the trees down yet, have they?
Oh, yeah, that was done in January.
Oh, was it? All right.
Yeah.
I guess I expected them to clear out more than that, but,
Well, they took what they thought they needed, so.
oh,
DES is going back to the letter of the law on a few of their testing regimens for the landfill. Over time, they've allowed, in case-by-case basis, less frequent inspections and testing of things. We heard from them, apparently lots of towns have heard from them, that those exceptions and variances from the actual written regs are not gonna be permitted anymore, so we have to add an inspection this year. Probably not a big deal, but I don't know if it's a sign of anything to come. And we're also gonna be testing for PFCs for the first time this year. That'll all happen, I think, in April, but I just throw it out there because it may portend a change in approach from them. I talked with our engineers about it, that we're not alone, a lot of other towns are in the same boat, but they're just gonna be sticklers for what's written, where we've even had permission to do things less frequently from them, but that's apparently been rescinded.
Thanks, all of the testing we've done each year, sent that in to them, and DES is the ones that said, okay, you don't only have to test twice a year for such and such a.
Yeah, we've asked for some lenience on that, because we never find anything, but they've changed their mind, so it's what the rules say. There's not a whole lot of room for us to squawk about it. It's not an evil thing, it's just different. And the only other thing I had, it just came up on my calendar, was a prompt to schedule something with the state park. You had left off.
Oh, right. Yes.
Right, and said, we're gonna do that again in 6 months, or whenever it was. It's come up on my thing.
Yeah.
Do you wanna be the person that sits in on that? We were gonna do the chiefs and one of you. Do you want me to work that through you? or-
Yeah, no, I'm
okay.
happy to sit in on it. I think
Okay.
anybody else on the board who wants to sit in on it would be welcome as well.
Okay,
This was part of the discussion that we had last season with, at the end of the season, with the director, whose name is escaping me right now.
Yeah, me too.
And Jay and Gunnar, and we talked about the coverage over there, the burden that it puts on our departments, the response time in particular around the drowning on 4th of July. And, excuse me, the director had committed to meeting with us 2 or 3 times a year. And so we talked about doing it at the beginning of the season and at the end of the season. So, yeah, I think let's do that.
And then lastly, we're ramping up for camp and summer season. It's school vacation week, so there's a little camp going on here. There's a basketball camp going on over the school. Rec department's looking for lifeguards. We don't have any at this point, so if you know anybody looking for.
Looking for what?
Lifeguards for the town beach. Always a tough one to fill,
Right,
but keep your ears open there.
okay.
Chris, what was the outcome of the plumbing issue over in the fire department?
It was here in the police department. We haven't got the full scope picture yet. I think we have a structural problem underneath the bathroom floor in there. But the camera died, so we're waiting for that to come back around and get fixed and take a scope look at it. It's working. We're in business, but we don't know for how long.
Okay. Anything else?
I got nothing.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Chris?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Well, I got one.
Yep.
Just trying to refresh my memory with the Pawtuckaway Lake folks. Did we commit them to forming an emergency management plan with us?
We talked about it, and they, I wouldn't say commit. I think that they agreed that it was something that we should do as a longer-term goal. Yeah.
But they didn't outright.
But that
Back
would be,
away from it.
I mean, again, that's the purpose of meeting with them again. It's kind of like, where are we with that?
Right. Yeah, it's no small undertaking.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
But yeah, that's definitely something we should be working towards with them.
Okay.
Yep. All right. So you want to talk about town meeting?
Yep.
And so what we have to talk about is, in preparation for town meeting, is of all of the warrant article, who on the board is going to put forward each warrant article, so that we're prepared for town meeting. And I don't have a copy of them in front of me, but, oh wait,
Dawn-
we
Dawn
do.
gave us
Oh,
a
Dawn, you
copy.
rock. Okay. So, we can go through these one by one, or if anybody has any passion for one that they want to call dibs on first.
I am not gonna be sitting at the head table on town meeting day.
You're not,
I am not, so
okay?
sneak out of this.
All right, okay. So I guess we can assign whatever we want to Tyler, since he's not here.
Yep.
Article 2.
Yep. So, okay, so Article 2, I mean, that's, so, and again, when it means that you put it forward, it means you put it forward and provide some background or information on it. It doesn't mean that you are solely responsible for any interaction related to it. So, who wants it?
I'm happy to do that one.
Okay, so Charlene.
Yep.
Do we need a first and second on these, Chris? Refresh me.
Who's
Yeah,
gonna
it's good
second
to,
it? Or-
yeah, whoever presents it can be the mover
Motion
of it.
Mover, yeah. And then,
I'll back her up.
you want to second it?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, typically someone in the legislative body does
Okay.
the second,
We'll
but-
have, we'll have two names just in case.
Yeah.
Okay, the budget.
The budget committee will
Budget committee will
present
do
it,
that.
so, yeah.
So they put it forward. Okay, 200,000, Article 4. Again, 200,000 for engineering, design, and highway construction. Okay. I don't care, Tony.
I can do that one.
Okay. If you want to do that one, I'll second. 525 for,
That'd probably be the chief.
Yep.
Or, well, someone will make the motion and then we'll ask.
don't we usually do?
I mean, you can make the motion.
I think we make the
do
motion
you
and
And
want-
we
then
ask
we
him.
invite the chief to come up.
Right, exactly. All right, so I'll do that one, and Charlene, you want a second?
Yeah, if needed.
Yeah.
That was Article 5?
Yep, that was
Okay.
5. All right, 6.
Have Tyler do that one.
Yeah, that's a good point. And Tony, you want a second?
Is that number 6?
Yep.
Yeah.
$100,000 to be added to the fire department. You want to do that one, Charlene?
Yep.
And I'll second. The ambulance billing services.
It's pretty straightforward.
Tony, you want to do that one?
I'll take that one.
So that's Article 8, Tony. We'll have Tyler second if needed. 25,000 for reevaluation.
Have Tyler do it.
Tyler. And Charlene, we'll have you second if needed.
Or
So that's Article 9. Just, let me skip ahead for 1 second. I want to do 13.
okay.
Okay.
All right, I'll do 10.
And let's just, Tony, we'll put you for second on that. I will do, I'll do 11.
It's gonna be a long day.
I know, right? Tricentennial, what are we at, like, number-wise here?
Well,
What's that?
that's 12.
Okay, 12, Tony, you want to do 12?
Sure.
And I did 11, let's put Tyler as the second. 13, I got 13. You guys care?
No,
Nope, no.
All right, Charlene, you got second.
yeah. Who's second on Article 12?
Me, yep.
The rest of these are
The rest of
petition
these are all
articles.
petition.
15, you have to introduce. That's the Kennard property
Right.
easement.
Do you want to do that one, Charlene?
I think we can ask the commission to present something if you
Yeah,
want to
yep.
let them do the heavy
Yep.
lifting, but.
Yeah, I'll do that one.
Charlene. And Tony second, if needed. And the rest are petition?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, so Chris, you'll just add these to that format and share that with us?
Yeah, I'll send that out to you. I typically, if you want it, I can give you the basic, for the routine ones, this is what it is, this is what it's used for, this is what's in the fund, this is
Yeah.
what it was last year.
Yeah,
Kind
yeah,
of
yeah.
30-second intro
Yeah.
of it.
And is that what you have on that sheet, is how much is in each fund?
No,
you
no,
add
that's, yes, yeah.
Because that's the number one.
We include those on the summary sheet, the 1 page.
Mm-hmm.
That's always helpful.
So, are we still on this?
Yeah,
So, question as far as there was some, folks who said that they wanted to see like the actual warrant article up on like a PowerPoint slide so that they could read it along with us.
isn't that in the town report?
It is in the town report, but it's what some folks wanted, so.
Is
We
that up,
could-
is
we
that up
could-
to us, is that
we
up to the
could-
moderator?
We could copy and paste, I guess, I don't know. It seems like it's kind of. They have the town report. I know, it's kind
Yeah,
of
so
repetition.
I just, I just don't know if that's our decisions or the moderator's decision.
Oh,
Well, I'm not very good with PowerPoints, it has to be your problems.
Well, we would do it. I think your question is that something, is that how you want,
Is that how she wants to run the meeting?
run the meeting?
Right. I mean, we'll do it if that's what you want, but it's your meeting.
I think PowerPoint is better used in cases like when the fire chief wants a new fire truck and he's showing us.
And there's background
The articles
information.
are pretty dry.
Yep.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I don't think it's that good. I don't know how many the townspeople feel differently. I'd say fine as long as Chris is willing to do it.
Yeah, it's when you get into amendments and things, it gets a little
It gets,
trickier. It's doable.
a lot of towns do it. and a
It's
lot of-
actually, the hardest part is probably the logistics of it, where we're using the PowerPoint, the laptop for some things at sometimes, and
Yeah.
I think we can figure it out if you want it, but
You tell us
it
if
might
you
be a
want
little
it.
clumsy, but we
We'll,
can
we'll
figure
do
it out.
it if you want to do it. It's your call.
Well, I'm meeting with you in a week.
Okay.
I'm an IT guy, we can figure it out.
Yeah. Tony just raised his hand. Did you see that?
Do it.
Yeah, if we're meeting with you in a couple weeks, let's talk about
It's
it.
right before the election.
All
That
right.
was the week of the meeting. but
We'll
it's
talk about it
12.
then.
You still have 6 days.
You can decide if that's how you want to do it, and if you do, then we'll logistically work it out for you.
There may be some benefit to people, like whether the text in the town report might be too small.
It was the budget too that they wanted.
Yeah.
Oh, the budget.
Yeah, it was both.
So then I would think the budget committee would do that.
Budget's a little harder just because of the size, right? Making it readable up on a,
When Miska goes through, he's gonna go through it section by section, just like he presented at the town meeting, and maybe that's what all he needs to display per slide is the per category totals. You know, and people can look at the details in their paper handout. But he can show last year's approved budget, you know, this year's proposed budget, the dollar change on the percentage, just have that on each slide for category to category. I mean, it's up to him,
and
really.
you don't have a meeting between now and then.
No, but I can
Can you just reach out to him?
reach out to him,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah. I think if presenters want to use it, fine. Am I interested in doing it? Probably not. Unless there's some huge benefit,
Yeah,
in which case I would still delegate it to somebody up
yeah,
there.
yeah. And we just hand out the town report. We don't hand out separate sheets, right?
There's a budget sheet and then
Yeah.
any additional information has been passed out before.
Yeah.
too. Anything that's usually gonna be,
I just think with the budget, to make it readable on a PowerPoint,
it's gonna be tough.
it's gonna be tough, because you know, I don't know if we can get away with just showing the summary. You know, we could try, but,
Well, if the PowerPoint was our only means of displaying it, that would be an issue, but there will be paper copies.
right, okay.
And I will read it, and Michigan will read it.
Miska's gonna go
Because there are
through
people
it.
who can't see.
Right.
Right.
They need to hear it.
Okay, you talk to Miska, see if he has a preference, and
Will do.
then we'll talk to you in a couple weeks. Okay. All right, it's 7 PM. We're now gonna move to the, wait, I'm sorry. Anybody else have anything on town meeting prep while we were there?
No, good.
Okay. All right, we'll move to the public hearing. This is on warrant Article 2. So the purpose of this hearing is to provide an opportunity for people to speak out on the warrant itself, all right? I'll just read you the warrant. It's to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $650,000 for the engineering, design, and highway construction and reconstruction on Ledge Farm Road or other roads in Nottingham if a priority arises, and to authorize the issuance of not more than $650,000 of bonds or notes in accordance with the provisions of the Municipal Finance Act, RSA 33, and to authorize the municipal officials to issue and negotiate such bonds or notes and to determine the rate of interest thereon. So that is warrant article number 2. So that's the topic of this meeting tonight. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Chris to provide some background on the warrant article itself, and then I'll open I'll officially open the public hearing and have, give folks the opportunity to come up and provide input. One thing I want to make clear to everybody is that there are no decisions being made here tonight. That's not the purpose of this meeting. Previously, this board made the decision to put the warrant article forward to the voters. So any decisions related to this warrant article will be made at town meeting day on March 17th. I also just want to kind of go through, as is common when you have a hearing of this nature, I want to go through some guidelines for this discussion tonight. If you would like to speak, if you'd like to comment, I mean, there's not a lot of people here, but I'd like you to kind of line up so that we just don't have people, trying to cut each other off. I want everybody to have a fair turn to speak. So if you could line up over there and then come to the mic, and when, you come to the mic and it's your turn, please clearly state your name. It would be, I think, beneficial if everybody tried to keep comments concise and to the point and to avoid excessive repetition. I know there's a lot of interest in this and people have a lot to say, but let's be respectful of each other as well. When you get up to, if somebody hasn't gotten up to speak and you want to get up there to make a third comment, give the person who hasn't had the opportunity to speak first. And then just please be respectful of everyone. Be respectful of each other. Be respectful of the members of this board, and be respectful of our town administrator. So with that said, I will ask Chris to just provide some background.
Donna, before Chris starts, do you want to explain kind of why this public hearing is, and then because it's a bond, it requires 2/3 vote?
I think you just explained it.
Okay. Because it's a bond.
Because it's a bond, that's.
You're required
right.
to do a public hearing, and then it takes 2/3 majority vote
At town meeting.
at town meeting.
Paper vote.
Paper vote.
Correct.
A paper ballot.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, so you have to have with any bonding over $100,000, you have to have a public hearing, and there's a window within which you have to do that. It's so many days before town meeting, but not too many days before town meeting. We're in that window. We have published the legal notice that this hearing is happening as is required. These are all things that whoever we borrow money from will want to see that we've completed all these steps to make it a legal binding vote by the town. So in 3 minutes or less, this warrant article is the culmination of your work over the past year on major road questions. We didn't really expect to be here this year, but with an extra appropriation from the legislature, we were able to move ahead on our finishing Lakeview Road this year, which we thought was going to be this year's project. Which is great. We're a year ahead of where we thought we were going to be. You have heard from residents since early last year anyway on these particular roads, but since then you've looked at all our other major projects, our capital improvement plan projects that are road related. We have pretty much caught up on our asphalt road reconstruction. There aren't any major asphalt reconstruction projects left to do at this point. We have culvert work in the CIP, and these gravel road projects, these two in particular, have been in the capital improvement program for a while. Ledge Farm, which is the one in the bond, at least a portion of it was in the paving of a portion of Ledge Farm was in the capital improvement program for several years. You see Cooper Hill Road in another warrant article. It isn't the subject of discussion tonight. In going through all those this year, you also commissioned some traffic count studies for our gravel roads, and that put Ledge Farm right at the top of the list in terms of volume. You know that we spend a lot of time and energy every year kind of band-aiding and responding to challenges on Ledge Farm, which is now our busiest gravel road by quite a bit. Traffic counts are now over 500 trips a day. So you went through all of those things. You asked about breaking the project up instead of having one big hit like this. You discussed doing it over the course of 2 or 3 even years to keep the size comparable to what we've historically done. We always do about 200,000 worth of a reconstruction kind of project. That's a very standard approach each year. And you looked at breaking this up to try and keep that level and decided that, you know, for a host of reasons not to try and do it that way. Namely, it pushes everything else back that we have to do. It's apt to cost more, a lot more in the long run. And it's 3 years worth of disruption to get to the same point that, you know, that you'd be at with doing it all at once. So, I think I can speak for you and say that your biggest motivators are the maintenance burden and that it's creating for us, and the realization that we're going to save money on that particular road in the long run if we get it done. There are also health and safety concerns. You've talked about those, for both safety concerns for the people using the road and health and nuisance concerns for the people that live on the road. You've talked about speed implications, traffic redistribution possibilities. You know, what does it allow us to do in other places? The gist of the work is to keep the exact same path of the road that's there now. The asphalt ends right now just past Rocky Hill Road as you come down from the square. This project would pick that up at that point and make it asphalt to the Epping town line, where it is again asphalt. It's just a hair under a mile. We would take the top 6 inches of existing road off, replace it with road-based material, compact it and all that, and then put 2 coats of asphalt down on top of it. The specs that we would use would be identical to any other privately developed road. That's the town standard. We'd use an engineer to oversee the job, do the bid, outline the scope of the work for the bid process, inspect the work. We'd contract out almost all of the work. And if the bond is approved at town meeting, we'll go right into that scope development process and a bid process, get an exact cost and bond based on that. We've started to do some of the homework for the bonding. It's pretty straightforward. We have plenty of room debt-wise. What you're anticipating is a 10-year bond for $650,000, which is about a $72,000 annual payment starting in 2019. It's about a 12-cent impact on the tax rate for 10 years. Any other subjects I didn't cover in that regard?
That covers it pretty well.
They must cover
Yeah, I
it.
think you got it just about.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Chris. All right, so with that, again, I'll just remind you that the discussion has to pertain to the article itself. The question on the table is bond financing for construction, reconstruction of Ledge Farm Road. So with that said, I'll open up to public comment.
Ryan Malchiano, I live at 36 Poor Farm Road. I guess one of my big concerns is, you stated that there would be an engineer involved for this project, but the alignment would stay exactly the way that it is. So I'm concerned that we're basically dropping asphalt here, and we're not doing any geometric improvements for the road. So a lot of people on either side of the fence here, they have concerns that if the asphalt goes down, people are gonna go faster. That's probably true. And I greatly suspect that road is not in conformance with really anything that would come close to the speeds that we see now or would see in the future. And especially with that sharp turn coming down from the square. So if there's only a small portion of money in this allocated to engineering, to me, I think that's a problem. I think you might even be exposing yourself to possible liability in the future. Last year, a car crashed in that area, and someone was medevaced out. I'm sure you all remember that. I was the person that came across the car that was upside down last week, and we had another car in the ditch this morning. And it seems every time something like that happens on this road, it's an out-of-towner that is not familiar with the road at all, and they don't know really what it is, and they're speeding. The locals, we all speed on this road, I think. But we know what it is. Out-of-towners don't. And if they end up in one of those ditches, especially on coming around the corner and someone's killed, I think you might have a real liability issue on your hands, and I think that alone might justify doing whatever improvements you can to the geometrics to make that a little bit better. I mean, does that, how do you feel about that?
I think in the past, we've used very little professional engineering. It was just from experience of the road crew. They rebuilt sections of road, tried to make the drainage correct. What you're saying, there's geometry involved with these roads now that probably hasn't been done
Right.
as well as it should have been in the past.
Right.
It's my understanding now, part of these numbers we're coming up with are, we've engaged engineers. There's gonna be a lot more engineering on these roads than there has been in the past. Does that sound reasonable? And exactly what, I would imagine, depending on what it is, that the engineering firm will bring those specific things back to the town to say, do you wanna go this route or not, so.
I
I
don't,
think it'll be much better than it has in the past, but I don't know.
When an engineer gets involved and there's budget, the very first thing that they would do is look at the horizontal profile and the vertical profile, and they'll look at, is there enough time to see a vehicle coming in the opposite direction and brake, or, basic safety things they will look at. But they need budget to do that. And I'm concerned that, believe me, I'm in favor of this project going forward. I know everyone knows that. But if it does go forward and these things are not considered, they're overlooked, and we just drop asphalt and run, you may create a situation that is a problem in the future. And there's a larger discussion that we all want to have about the other roads and problems with that, but the other dirt roads, but I won't. But if this project goes sour, the likelihood of these other issues being addressed in a larger scale goes down the tubes. So I think it's very important that this, for the amount of money that we're spending alone, I think it's very important that if this goes in, it goes in right, and we don't have those liability issues in the future. And the drainage, I think the drainage issue is critical out here. There's a massive amount of land that's pitched down towards that road, and what to do with all of that water, I don't know. I haven't formally looked at it. I'm a bridge engineer. I'm not a roadway engineer, so I can't figure that one out. But to have the ditches the same size that they are right now and constantly have to keep going in there and digging them out because the drainage was never done right, that's not a problem we want in the future. Those ditches right now are so big that car that went in today, the whole car fits in that ditch. It was up to the roof. I don't know if you've seen it yet, but we'll post it on our Facebook page.
I just got down from Switzer's. At the bottom of the field there, yeah. Pretty good swale right there. With lots of snow in it.
So I mean, with a certain amount of engineering input into this, things like this can go away. And I think that's what we want to see with the end product is make the situation better and not create, unintended consequences that haunt us going into the future.
we do not have anything in here for moving the path of the road. This is keep the existing path of the road and fix the surface. Nothing for advanced geometry, land acquisition, ledge removal, which is on on the corner
Sure.
in between the farmhouse and the ledge, on the other side of the road. This is keeping the existing, essentially the existing grade, and path of the road. There'll be some modification to grade as you get into it, but, we did not task our engineers with saying, what's the best way to get from point A to point B in this general vicinity. We said, what is it gonna take to fix the surface of this road?
My roadway engineers are telling me that when you have ditches that are this big and this deep, technically you should have guardrail. And if this isn't resolved and people are going faster, you know, the liability, the risk is coming up if this isn't corrected along with it. So I consider that also.
I think guardrails is probably in the mix.
If this could be
As a
laid-
relatively minor add-on to a project like this, changing the path of the road should not be expected for this amount of money.
I mean, if the drainage could be, maybe it could be worked out in a way where you avoid the need for guardrail. I don't know, but the drainage study would do that for you. So anyway, my overall message with that is just please take the time to put the resources into it so it can be thoughtfully put together and make the most of this money spent.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Rob Claxton, 85 Ledge Farm Road. With that said, I think the Rocky Hill section that was paved a couple years ago, whatever it's been, from Rocky Hill out to the square, going over the few patches of existing stuff that was there, I think that had prep work by the town. I know John was up there a lot at that point, prepping and with the crew. And I don't know if final prep was done by Continental or what, but I think, you know, after 20 years of living there, when I hit that corner, Rocky Hill, and hit the hot top, from there out to the square, you know, so far it looks good. There's no water issues or anything up at that end, but, you know, it's a relief to hit that hot top after pounding away through mud and ruts and everything else to get to that point. So I think moving forward, almost anything that's done down there would be better for this article. And the speed issue, which is a issue, whatever, and the cutting through of traffic or whatever, there's nothing you can do about that. That's whether it's a non-issue or however you would word it, it's 2018, it's life. You know, I think there's enough traffic around the area now. Everyone cuts through everywhere, wherever we go. I don't think we all just sit out on 125 and just sit in traffic. We all know shortcuts. Everyone utilizes it. You know, it is what it is, you know. And to sit on that and wish the town never grew and wish a subdivision didn't go in and wish and wish and wish, you know, we could do that forever. But it doesn't change what's on the ground now. You know, you go up there today, I think they added fill today, graded around. And it's better today than it was this morning, I think. But it's not a problem that's gonna go away without this article, you know, or articles like this in the future, whatever it takes. You know, it's here, it is what it is, and you have to be a little progressive in town and you know, hopefully people will be willing to move forward and see the safety benefit. And like that car that was in the ditch, that was right next to my house this morning. You know, whether it's speeding, not speeding, I don't know, it's not my deal, but it's probably preventable when it's poor weather, rainy or whatever in the winter. Those dirt roads turn instantly to ice and you'll go hit the hot top and it's fine. There's no issue, you know. We've had 2 storms like that this winter where they go by my house backing down Poor Farm Road and Ledge Farm Road, backing up with the sand trucks to sand the roads because they're so icy they can't go forward. It's being done, it's the way I guess you have to do it, but I think we're beyond driving around backwards in dump trucks. I think there's a huge liability with that, doing that. Obviously, you can't see what's behind you. You know, that's why they have windshields and not rear view mirrors to drive forward. So I think the town's opening themselves up to a weird issue with that. You know, if you back over somebody or whatever you're doing there. So I think 2018, I think we're beyond going backwards with dump trucks. And, you know, I think it'd be nice just to solve a lot of issues. You know, maybe new issues will come along with traffic, but I think it is what it is. You know, there's so many residents on that road. If they go by my house at 100 miles an hour, I live there, I could say I was the idiot that voted for this, whatever, you know. Hopefully police could take care of it, but on that issue, it is what it is. For many people that don't live on the road, you know, it's an issue, whatever, tax issue. You know, if they don't live on the road, they don't speed on the road, they don't fly down the road, their kids aren't gonna get run over. You know, it's not a speed concern that, you know, should stop progress, you know, is how I feel about that. Yeah, that's it, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
I have one other thing to add.
Is there anybody else that wants to go first? All right, then.
So this has nothing to do with the engineering of it. If this doesn't go through, I think this road and Poor Farm, maybe some others where we have these high traffic counts, I think we need to talk about this silica dust issue. When you have that many cars driving over that sand, you're releasing silica. It's naturally there. It's the dust levels I see at my house, and my neighbor Dick is here. He can tell you about it too. But anyone on this road, there is a constant cloud of dust that's hanging over this neighborhood. And any other road, any other gravel road that has traffic like that, you have the same thing happening. There's no difference between breathing that in versus someone that's cutting concrete with a saw next to you. The silica added to concrete, the silica naturally in the sand, and that's, if you get enough of that in you, at the light end it's asthma, at the extreme end it's lung cancer. That you can't fix that. So I've got 5 years of that in my lungs now from living at my house, and I'm the newest guy on the road. So I honestly feel that if these improvements don't go through, we should really have some kind of testing system put in place where when these particle levels get high enough that you know you should be sending someone out there to water down the road or begin treatments. There's things that could be done with gravel roads that will stop this. There's a cost to it, but what's been happening to date is to have no plan. There's no control. There's no data on the concentrations that are out there. I know no one's following that, but that's if you could see a permanent cloud coming off of that road through the dry season, it's pretty high. It's pretty bad. So with the way the town is growing, I don't see how this can continue unmitigated. We talked about that at the last meeting I was at here about the dust problem, and nothing has happened since. I mean, this is probably 8 months of the year. There's a cloud over my house, and from what I'm reading, the air levels inside someone's house are not that much better than what's happening outside. So to me, this is a pretty serious problem. I really hope that something's done about it.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I do.
Come on up.
Jennifer Hilton. I'm a new resident. I pay taxes.
Address, please.
19 Annalisa. We have a paved development. Everybody knows that. However, we all use that road. they all use that road to get into Epping. I have a stepdaughter. Everybody in that community has children. Everybody in Nottingham, mostly everybody has children and grandchildren. A lot of new drivers out there. And aside from the damage to my car, which I just had looked at today, I had to have another alignment, and I had a tire that had a problem. It's just a car, right? When somebody dies, this conversation is going to be completely different. We're going to be talking about a life. And I don't know if anybody's died yet, but to know that somebody was medevaced out, that's pretty important. And that supersedes my car damage, the dust levels on the top of somebody's house. Somebody's dead at that point. And if we don't do something now, we may have that conversation, and that's not what anybody wants, I would assume. So it's a safety issue for me. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Anyone else? Going once? Going twice? All right, with that said, I'll close the public hearing, and thank you all very much for coming.
Remind them to get the sign-up sheet if they didn't.
Oh yeah, if you didn't sign the sign-up sheet on your way in, please make sure you do on your way out. Which one are we? L, okay.
Unless you want to do anything else with anybody that's here. I don't think you do, but
You don't need anything from us tonight, right? Okay. Okay.
I just need to hear what happens. At budget hearings.
At what?
At budget hearings.
It's all done.
And then because
Oh,
it's
she just
discussed
wants to
here,
hear.
we discussed it at town meeting.
I'm sorry, what?
But you don't have anything else, you just wanted to listen in.
I just listened in.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
fine, yeah.
Being an informed
To learn
voter.
and prepare.
yes, because I'm supposed to shut people off who bring up topics that aren't warned. And if they're discussed at budget hearings, then they can be discussed at town meeting. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, there wasn't anything,
No, it's pretty quiet.
nothing different.
Right, thanks.
All right, thanks, Bonnie.
Thanks, Bonnie.
All right, given that there's nothing else on the public agenda, we will be going into non-public, and coming out of non-public, barring no additional business, we will close the public meeting at that point as well.
We're
So,
going in under
L.
L, so don't forget, Tuesday, May 13th, voting at the polls here at the, here at the community center, and then Saturday, May 17th, town meeting.
I'll make a motion that we enter into non-public per RSA 91-3-A:3L.
Second.
Can I have a roll call?
Hi, Brown.
Hi, Anderson.
Aye, Danis?
Aye, Dunas.